Hello and welcome to Holy Fury. This is the biggest, and I hesitate to say before we get too much into it, but the best Crusader Kings II DLC which has ever been released. And I'm super excited to get a chance to play it a little bit earlier than its release date. It's meant to release on the 13th of November, but Paradox have given me a review key. Thank you very much, Paradox, and allowed me to play a little bit earlier so that you can get a taste of what's going on. So, what are we going to do? Let's get right into the action. Well, we are going to defend Catholicism. We're going to defend, other Christians as well, but mostly Catholicism. We're also going to aim to expand the Catholic border. So this is the map mode we're going to be caring about when we play. We're going to want to hold this border down in Spain. We're going to want to hold off the Slavic people. We're going to want to hold Orthodox's border here. Hopefully make it Catholic, but Orthodox will do. And basically, we want to make sure that the world stays Catholic or turns Catholic. This is how we're going to do Holy Fury. We are also starting a little bit early for it because, well, we don't have any crusades yet. Crusades start, earliest they can start is 900, but that's only if the Byzantines fall, if Rome falls, and some other places. I think France, Brunswick, and Cologne fall. If they all fall, if any of them fall, there's a good chance there's crusades. However, it doesn't really look like that's going to happen right now. They look pretty stable. This may look a little bit fractured, but actually, if we go into the Dynasty map mode, we can see it's all caroling. They're all allies. It's not as fractured as it first looks. But we're a little bit early for Crusades. The next Crusades can start, I think it's at 1100, and that's only, I think it just starts then. I think that's if it hasn't started by then, they kind of get started. So, we've got a little bit of time. What are we going to do with our time? Well, we have a problem. We have a major problem for our goal, which is that all of the Catholic land over here in Britain is about to turn not Catholic. Because if we have a look here, we have King Halfdan, and he has all of his brothers, and they're pretty much going to take all of it. They're going to absolutely take over England, and a little bit of Scotland. But mostly England. They're going to take East Anglia, and they're going to take Northumbria straight away. Mercia is going to fall not so soon after. And then maybe Wessex and Cornwall hold off. Maybe Wales holds off. But realistically, everything south of here is gone. It's also a little bit worrying for where we are. We are in Scotland. We are Constantine MacAlpin. And, well, it's a little bit worrying. Because we're also a tribe. We don't have that many troops to, deal with things. We need to find a way to somehow get a strong enough army to hold them off and to hopefully at the same time secure our dynasty, make sure that we have heirs beyond us, and hopefully, advance some goals overseas. But it's going to be difficult. It's definitely going to be difficult. Now, you may have noticed when we clicked on Halfdan, there's a whole bunch of new things in the UI. There is personal combat skill. It's a new stat, which basically is out of 100, and, I'd say it's a new stat. There was a version of this stat earlier in previous iterations of the game. However, they've kind of solidified it a little bit more, and they're using it in a lot more places. There's a lot more duels and things. So, this one is going to be how well you fight in, a duel, in combat, all of that sort of stuff. So it's more of, as it says, is a personal combat skill, while martial is more of a, it's how good a general you are. So, that's the first thing you probably noticed. Other things that everything's moved around into different places. That doesn't matter too much. But there are a few new buttons as well with that. We have the Bloodlines button. So we have all of these brothers are the blood of Ragnar Lodbrok. So, a legendary Viking hero, he led numerous raids against the Franks and Anglo-Saxons, going so far as to sail up the Seine and successfully lay siege to Paris. This is something which some characters in the game start with. They start with the blood of a certain person. A certain major person in the past who has done something notable and worthwhile that will get passed down. It can also be generated in-game. So if you do something, or if an AI character does something worthy, they will also get their blood passed down. And there are a few things that goes with that. There is the bloodline being active, which means that the bloodline can go inactive under certain conditions. So say that you are the blood of a mighty warrior. I don't know. say if you then lose your leg, you go blind, and you lose your arm, maybe you don't get so much of that bloodline. I don't know. There are conditions that basically cut off things. So that's what that one's for. Or maybe if you're craven, you're not a proper person of that bloodline. Like, they're not going to respect it. I don't know. Anyway. It also tells you how it gets inherited. So this one's patrilineal and matrilineal. That means it'll pass from the mother or the father. So not any big kind of deals there. It gets personal combat skill, basically showing that you are descended from them. So you've got some of their natural raw ability. Give some opinion on this one, and specifically for this one, it gives Viking traits, or if you raid. So, as you can see, he's a Viking. Makes sense. There are some other bloodlines at the map start. Like, if we head over here, we have this guy. He also has a bloodline, the blood of the Basilios, which gives him Greek opinion, Orthodox opinion, but this one gives him prestige instead. It's slightly different. What you can also see on his one, though, is that this button is active. So if we go to in here, we've got kills. And this is basically a kill list. It shows you every single person who somebody has killed, which is going to be very, very interesting to look at as we get further into this, because I think that we can have some fun with that. But yeah, that's a new one. It also gives you a kill count, and if we have a look in the ledger, I believe there is a new one in here. Oh, that's bloodlines. Yeah, there's a kill list. There's basically a scoreboard. This is person and number of people they've killed. That'll be interesting to get into at some point, I'm sure, once we're a little bit further into it. So there's a whole bunch of different things on the UI there. There's also two more buttons, which actually aren't on the UI when you look at yourself, so I don't know why I clicked there. There's sway and there's antagonize. So sway, that's when you want people to like you. Antagonize, that's when you want people to not like you. Very straightforward. You also still have to choose a plot, but that's been there quite some time, so we don't really need to go too much into that. So we'll go back to ourselves. We are not so good at fighting. In fact, we have no real skills in it whatsoever. We're also not very learned. We're slightly sneaky. We don't know how to run a kingdom. We're barely a good fighter, and we're not very diplomatic. So right now, we're a pretty rubbish character, which isn't great. We also don't have a wife, so we don't even get any of her skills coming our way. Our son, he's looking to be, well, I mean, he's a little bit more learned than us just off the bat, but he's still not looking that great. So ideally, we're going to want some good education for our son. We do have our brother, who is, of course, our heir. He's good at fighting. Well, I say good, he's got 12 martial. It's not amazing, but, you know, he's relatively, compared to us, he's good. He's basically better than us in all ways, so we might want to be our brother in the end, but we can't, we don't want to do it right away. Like, if we die and we become him, it's not necessarily the end of the world, is what I'm getting at there. We also have a bunch of tribal vassals, which makes the fact that we have 700 troops a little less worrying. So basically, tribal vassals are people you can call into battle, so we're going to want them to like us. I'm going to sway our brother here, just because I suspect he's one of our more powerful tribal vassals. He's also our brother, so there's a good reason to want to kill us. We're going to sway him. Hopefully that'll get him to like us a little bit. Also shows up on the right hand side here. Right, so go back to packs. We have some more people. So we have like another 300 there. Our brother had about 650. So let's say we're sitting about 900, 1,300, 1,500. So all in all, we have about 2,200 troops. It's okay. But if I need to remind you, King Halfdan has 20,000. So if he's coming up this way, I think he's taking Northumbria. Yeah, he's taking Northumbria. So he's heading straight for us. Very big worry. So ideally, we want an alliance with somebody who's very strong. I think the Carlings seem like a great option because they also have a bloodline. So that means that would get passed down if we had any children, and we could potentially roll the Carling bloodline into our bloodline, which means we get Catholic opinion, prestige, and we can get great warriors who occasionally just turn up, which sounds like a very nice way to deal with things. So we would want to do that. That's probably the first thing we want to do. But we've got some other things. We've got crown focus. We just set that on our capital because we have nowhere that's prospering right now, and crown focus just makes it more likely to prosper. We need a designated regent. Well, really, that should be our brother because he is the heir, and our brother seems like a great choice. We don't need to actually get any We don't need to get any children, so when choosing our focus, we don't need to choose anything like this, which will get us fertility. That's just, we have a child, and we have a brother, we have 2 heirs, we have an heir and a spare. I'm going to try avoiding also getting just tons and tons of heirs, but we'll move away from that just for just now. We'll focus on what we're going to choose. Hunting's alright, gives us a little bit of health. Not necessarily something we need to worry about. War could be a really good one. War increases our martial. It also gives us personal combat skill. And you get a bonus if you're leading an army. You get a morale bonus. So it could be a good idea if we raise our martial, get the morale bonus from leading an army. That could lead to good things. That could lead to very good things. So I think war focus. It's also going to give us more troops, which just in itself is pretty good. We aren't holding too many provinces. In fact, we're holding a lot less, so we're well within our domain. So we might want to expand our personal domain a little bit within here, so we can get some more things directly under our control. And then that will allow us to raise up a little bit more troops, but we'll see. Long-term goals. We need to pick an ambition. Our ambition should be, well, we don't have find a wife, make a friend, exalted, see the realm prosper. Seeing the realm at peace could be alright, but I'm thinking build a war chest more fits what I want to do here. We're very worried about being attacked, so building a war chest could potentially allow us to get some mercenaries, which will allow us to potentially fight off any invaders. Especially as the invaders are actually already at our border. It's a very worrying situation to be in. Right, council. All of the positions are filled. Are they filled by good people? Not necessarily, but most of them are powerful vassals, so there's not really a lot we can do there. Improvement of religious relations, we're just going to do that with the Pope. The Pope might be able to provide us a little bit of money, again, to help for a war chest. Here, okay, so we have Administer Realm, which will improve our domain. I usually just choose Collect Taxes, but we don't have that available. It's been a while since I played a tribe, but we should be getting into her. So this one allows us to increase the chance that somewhere's culture is changed to Scottish. Well, that doesn't really matter. Everywhere's culture is already Scottish, so I'm not worried about that. Build Legend. So we can build our legend amongst our people, increasing our prestige and possibly even raising some eager warriors. You know what? I think we're going to do that. That seems like a really good idea. We can get some more troops on our side. Potentially, that could go well. I'm also going to train troops with our marshal. Again, I'm all about getting as many troops as possible. The Chancellor, I don't know what I want him to do. I'll leave him on performing statecraft right now, but I might get him to improve opinion. Potentially with our brother, but potentially with someone overseas if we need that to happen. Laws, we don't really need to do anything. We can view our electors and see whether we can get them to vote for our candidate. Apparently, we're currently pushing our son to be our heir. I guess makes sense. We'll just leave it that way. We could get some opinion of our brother if we switched it, but I'm not worried about that. I don't need to change tech. Don't need to get any of them. We don't have any... Well, we could potentially get some retinue. Oh, these use 200 caps. So actually, we could get some veteran warriors on our side, potentially. We only need prestige for those. Although our prestige is pretty low, it's going to tick up fairly quickly. That seems like a good idea if we can get some of these ones. They also get extra combat bonuses over normal troops, so... There's stuff there. We could also get tribal warriors if we just want to look stronger. It only uses 105 usage, so if we were to get all of those, we're looking at... well, we get 4 of them. So that's 400... 600 extra troops. Yeah, that's very reasonable. We have a lot of mercenaries we could potentially grab. There are no holy orders right now because the crusades haven't started. We also have all these founding things. What do we need to do to found? Let's say we want to found a feudal place. We need to have the law absolute tribal organization, which we don't have. And our capital holding must be tribal and have a hill fort. Okay. Or be the holding type castle. So we can either take a castle or have a stone hill fort. That's fine. So how do we get, what's it, was that absolute tribal? Absolute tribal, max tribal? Yeah, also known as, okay, absolute. So we're well off that. We're so far off that. It says council's not allowed to initiate voting. Are there actually any council members who vote on these things, or can we just choose? It doesn't seem like anyone's allowed to vote on anything. So I might just change this. It will implement Empowered Council and War Declaration Committee, however. Interesting. So if I decide to switch to that, I assume that means my council then gets, yeah, if I increase it organized, if I increase it tribal organization, that'll then make it so that council members can vote on these things. I'm happy to just kind of leave that for just now, actually. I don't think I need to change it. I prefer to have control over things, but we want to move that way eventually. Technology-wise, not worried about it. We've already looked at military. In terms here, we can also borrow some money, which might be a good way to go if we need to drastically, very quickly get troops. Hold a great tribal festival. Okay. I'm kind of interested in doing that. It does cost 50 gold though, so we'll leave it a second. Religion. You can see we can now choose Pope things from down here. We can say, I would like some money from here, or we can say, I'd like to invade from here. So we can do that. Not going to do it right now. And societies we're also not going to join right away, although the Wolf Warriors is a new one, which is interesting. The Wolf Warriors, or the... I'm going to take a stab at it. The Headnar, as they call themselves, consist of ferocious men and women fighting for honor and recognition on the battlefield, as well as an ideal of bravery and companionship. In honor of Odin the Allfather, they wear their pelts into battle and favor a spear in personal combat. Well, I'm not so much into the in honor of Odin, to be honest with you. That doesn't seem to fit us right now, but that's fine. Right, let's get married. We're looking for a carling. We're looking ideally for one of these kind of carlings down here. Oh, that seems good. So we have Ermintrude. I mean, that seems fine. She's 17. She's a carling. She fits all of my required things. So, he would say yes. Fantastic. He actually quite likes us. And that would potentially get us an alliance with West Francia, which seems just like a great idea overall. Yeah, I'm just going to get that marriage going. I don't see why we have to worry about that. And let's unpause the game. So, we have a child who lacks an education focus. It's up here now. So what kind of focus are we going to choose for our son? Struggle can get him rowdy and willful, which would probably increase his martial would be a good idea here. Yeah, that seems like a good idea. Let's try and improve his martial just a little bit. Right. Princess Ermintrude and King Constantine II are getting married. We can collect royal aid duty to pay for the ceremony, so we can get gold or prestige. I'm kind of interested in the prestige because it's going to increase the amount of retinue that we can get. So if I head up here, we can now afford this retinue, which is lovely. So I think we want veteran warriors. I think that seems like the best idea is to just get... If we're never going to have as many troops as the Germanic people, but we might be able to have better troops, which seems okay. This, however, is only going to give us... We can only get 2 lots of them. So that's only going to give us 300 troops. This one can give us 600 troops, but they're not very good troops. But this one. We can again get 4 of them. No, we can only get 3 of those, right? Yeah, we can only get 3 of those, so that's 450 versus 300. Yeah, I think I'm going to prefer to just have the veteran warriors. Yeah, it seems like a good idea. Are any of these better than the others? They all use the... Oh, that one's worse, obviously, because it uses less retinue cap. But what's the difference between these two? Is whether you want light cav or whether you want heavy infantry. It doesn't really matter. I think we'll just take the heavy infantry for just now, and we'll take a couple of those. That's fine. Right, so we'll let those get more powerful. It's okay. I don't think there's anything else really to worry about. No, that seems alright. Right, let's unpause. What is love? Today is the day, the one I've been dreading. While I've kept my appearances up throughout the ceremony, a paralyzing doubt is gnawing at my soul. My new wife, Ermintrude, is certainly a good match. But is that all there is to it? I know people like us never marry for love, but why does the priest talk of such things? I fear dying without ever having known true love. During the following wedding feast, I feel as if I'm moving through thick fog, mechanically repeating the motions, just as I've been taught. That is, until I see her. Her pealing laughter and radiating smile breaks through the numbness, like a Cupid's arrow lodging itself deep in my heart. Is she the answer to my prayers? Oh dear, we're falling in love with Chiefess Isabel of Athol, which isn't great because she's married to my spy master, who doesn't like us, which is never a good sign for a spy master, but at the same time, that's not good at all. Okay, while taking a break from dancing, I've received the opportunity to converse with Lady Isabel. I am not disappointed. Her wit, her beauty, her charm. I do not want the moment to end. but her husband, Chief Malmur, is approaching. Okay, do we say, may I have the honor of a dance, or I better leave? You know what? Let's go into it. Let's lean in. May I have the honor of this dance? Okay. Is this going to lead to more bad things, or... Okay. Tonight I was visited by Isabel in my dreams. When I woke up, I could still hear her velvet voice echo in my ears, and feel the comforting weight of her hand in mine. Oh, graceful angel, most brave beauty, my heart aches for you. You know what? Again, we're leaning into it. I must find her before she leaves. Oh, we've become brave. Fantastic, our marshal's gone up. Lovely. By the grace of God, Isabel had not yet left. I found her in the garden taking a stroll. She let me join her, and soon our conversation flowed as easy and pleasant as a leisurely summer's day. In the end, I had to profess my love. She rejected me most virtuously, but I could tell she was moved by my words. I will give her time. How much time? Like, you know, a couple seconds or like a couple of months? I think we're giving her a lot of time, actually. Okay. Well, with that rather unusual wedding, I think it's time to end the episode here. Thank you for watching. As it is the first episode of a series, I'm going to remind you that liking, commenting, subscribing, all that sort of stuff really helps the channel grow and really helps the series itself grow. And if you want to see a little bit more content in about, let's see, in about 9 minutes time, there is going to be another series starting for this one, which is going to be more of an aggressive series. This one's going to be very much building tall, a little bit slower. The other series is going to be mostly conquesting and mostly by force. We're going to be creating our own religion, which is going to be a very interesting time. And if you want to see more of this series, you can come back at 5:30 p.m. GMT, and you can see more of it today. So, thank you for watching. I will hopefully see you then. Goodbye.